The invitations have been sent. That's right. If you guys have been following IT Life with me, we've been working on constant contact and WordPress contact forms based invitations for our Expo. So good morning, Internet. I'm excited because the Excel spreadsheet stuff is done. This is IT Life. This is where I give you guys a few minutes of my morning every morning, giving you a little bit of insight and knowledge into the world of IT for a small business. Precision Electric is a company I work for. We do industrial services training, industrial services and repair, electric motors, all that fun stuff. And so I take a few minutes out of my morning, kind of fill you guys in on what it's like in the real world of IT. And again, I'm working for small business. It's quite a bit different than working for corporate. You have to learn how to wear many hats. And over the past couple of weeks, we've been working on this Expo, and this is a little copy of the schedule, and you can't really see that. There's a PDF copy at the website, but the schedule is something we put together in our meetings, and we basically determined what classes we were going to offer at the show, and then I converted this schedule into a wonderful registration page. And IT Life, we're going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to show you what I did. IT Life, again, it's sponsored and not sponsored. It's brought to you by patrons. So if you're not a patron yet, check out patrons. Great way to get some features and direct contact with me. Be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So do not hesitate to become one. Lots of great stuff, and really, they're the ones who keep the show going. You guys are awesome. Well, everybody's awesome. But you guys are awesome too. I don't want to say awesomer because I'm pretty sure it's not a word. So anyways, I did this contact form with WordPress contact forms. Let me pull this up for you guys so you can see it. And I want to talk a little bit about landing pages. If you guys know nothing about web design, this might be beneficial to you. But basically on our homepage, you'll notice I have a website that basically, it's basically our homepage. We sell these drives online and everything, which I need to list more of those. But I put this right at the top to join us June 5th of this year, and then you click Learn More, and then it brings you to this landing page. And the big thing about landing pages is you have to have some kind of a call to action. Now, my call to action's down here, and the video that was done by Chris Keyworth, actually, if you guys might know him. He's in the Craig and Chris show with me at craigandchris.com. We good friends from high school, and he's been in film. He did an exceptional job on this video. But then what we did is I put this click here to register, seating is limited below it. And that's pretty easy to do in WordPress, something like this. This is just an embedded YouTube video. Let me show you the page here. WordPress, it's like a couple lines of code for this. And that's kind of the nice thing is you can build these really powerful pages. So here's join us June 5th, and I just used the heading 1. And then there's the embedded video. I went to the text tab here in the upper right-hand corner, and then I pasted the code in there. And down here, I just said, click here to register, and I made a link to the registration page. So this would be my basic landing page. So people who received my email, it would bring them to that page. And so they'll learn more about the event. Now, I thought about it last night. I think what I'll be doing is I'll add more, and this is something you guys might want to know if you're in web design or anything, or even have input into your company's website, is that you want to make sure that you are relaying the information. But the boss man came in here and said, hey, Craig, not everybody can watch video, which is true, especially in this world, because you're sending them a business email. They might not have speakers hooked up, or they might not have the audio hooked up. So I think what I'll do is I'll put below this an entire description of the event so that they can read about it. You know, and it's just something you don't really think about until somebody tells you, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Plus, if I put the text in here, it'll have better search results on search engines, or potential search results on search engines. So that's basically, landing pages are hard. They're supposed to be straightforward. They're supposed to convey your message very clearly, and they're becoming more and more difficult because you really need to grab people's attention and give them a call to action. So registration is limited. So once you click on the registration, here's what I put together for my contact forms. And I did the video on this earlier, so if you guys want to see the code for this, it's at the WordPress contact forms IT Life. but they'll enter their first, last company email address and company name, and you can download a PDF copy of the training schedule, which just launches the training schedule. And then down through here, what I did is I just took that little table I showed you guys earlier, and I turned it into a website with tables. And what I did is they can check off each individual class, and then once they've registered for it, they can send it. Now, I mentioned yesterday that I wasn't too happy with Constant Contact. I kind of changed my mind on it because the email turned out really good, and I wanted to show you guys that. I was kind of hard on them because I've had historical frustrations with Constant Contact. Let's see if I can find it here. See if I have a copy of the invitation. Yeah, here we go. No. Let's see here. Join us for this year's. There it is. So it looked a little something like this, and it really worked out good because Constant Contact gives you a lot of tools in the background to be able to manage these emails, so I know who clicked on it, how many people clicked on it, what their email addresses of the people who clicked on it, and I can really gauge the success of this email, and I was kind of hard on it because I had mentioned MailPoet was nice, and it is. MailPoet is nice. But Constant Contact apparently also has a registration or event planner now, which is kind of cool. So we've used them for a couple of years, but that's not really the reason I've had historical frustrations with them. Usually when you're building your email with Constant Contact, remember, being in IT is in a small business especially, is you have to learn the tools, because the tools are what are going to separate you from everybody else, because the truth is you're going to be asked to do, not necessarily asked to do, because it's better if you volunteer, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities to streamline the way things are done, because you're going to have more insight and more knowledge into how the technology works and how it can be leveraged. And if you know the tools and you're keeping yourself well informed into what's going on out there, as a single person, as a lone IT guy, you will be able to do a lot with very little, with just the right tools. Like this whole website thing. If I was a web designer, I could have sat down and coded all that manually, but WordPress has unleashed the power for one guy like me to really go in there and custom tailor something to our business's needs. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time for me to learn it, but now that I have that skill, it can be applied to almost any area. And I was actually having a conversation with Mark Ferrasi, who's a patron, yesterday. And I said the one thing that they can't take from you is your knowledge. So no matter where you're working, you always want to be acquiring new knowledge and new skills, because that knowledge and skills can be applied. And then once you kind of have acquired skills or learn how to learn, when you see opportunities, you can jump on those opportunities. You know, when people are like, man, it'd be nice if we could, or then you can say, oh, you know what, WordPress has contact forms, I can build a registration page. You know, they didn't know that existed. And it really starts to build up your value and not only your skill set, but your value to that company as well. And I always encourage people to really make sure you're constantly challenging yourself in new ways. And that's an absolute necessity when you're trying to really be successful in the business world, or just successful at life. I think that's a big part of it. Because as much as I love my video games and I miss them dearly, and I still wish I could burn hours doing it, I don't really acquire a specific skill with video games. I attribute a lot of what I've learned through the problem solving of video games. But sometimes it's better for me to spend a few hours doing this or making videos for you guys because I'm learning something than burning it playing video games. But I do miss them. I miss them dearly. And it's more out of necessity because I have kids, so I don't really have an opportunity to play the games I want to play anymore either. So it's like a good problem to be in, because I'm like, well, I can't play video games, so I might as well help the internet. So anyways, that's my rant for today. Welcome to IT Life, where you guys get valuable insights into the real world of IT. And today, again, I'm going to probably expand on that landing page and keep moving forward with that. And remember, patrons can ask me questions anytime for this. Speaking of which, I forgot to answer a question for Jacob Williams today. And so, no, I didn't forget. Never mind. Thank you guys for coming out. I will see you tomorrow.